Chanel. Welcome back to my channel. Today I just wanted to make a video all about Northeastern. For many of you high school seniors, you guys have gone into Northeastern, so I want to congratulate you. And because this whole coronavirus thing, a lot of the college tours were canceled, and there's not a lot of information out there about Northeastern, I feel like, or a lot of Northeastern YouTubers, especially when I was looking at schools and trying to figure out where I want to go. Thankfully I can go in person, but I know a lot of people are either too far away, and now that these tours have been canceled or revisit dates have been canceled, there's not a lot of information out there for you to make a proper decision of where you want to go. So I just wanted to make a video with my friends. If we were back at school, it would have been all of us together in person, but because we're all separated, they're just going to be in different videos. But we just wanted to answer as many questions about Northeastern as possible so that you can make a good decision for yourself and try to figure out if Northeastern is the right fit for you. If you have any other questions about Northeastern that I haven't included in the video, please make sure to comment down below because someone may also have your question. But if you feel like it's a little bit more personal, you just want to speak one-on-one, please feel free to email me at chanelj.yt@gmail.com. That's my YouTube email, so if you want to ask me any questions about Northeastern, college in general, life in general, please feel free to reach me there. I definitely will answer your emails in a quick manner. I'm home anyway, so I can answer every email. Also follow me on my social media. They're all linked everywhere in my intro, in my description box. So if you ever need to follow me, I know that it's private, but just request me and I'll definitely make you follow me. If you just want to DM me there as well, you can also see some Northeastern content, just so you can get a feel of the school. I just want to help everyone as much as I possibly can to make sure that you think that Northeastern is the right fit for you. And finally, I would love if you guys can follow my business Instagram at shop@LairBeauty. I'm wearing my lashes right now. These are my newest lashes that I haven't released yet. So I'm still trying to figure out a name, but these are lashes that I will be releasing soon. I have one lash called Hot Gal, and then I have 4 different lip glosses, and I'm expanding my brand every time as much as I possibly can. So if you guys can just follow my business page, follow my website, get some products, you guys won't regret it. I'll greatly appreciate it. Now let's get into the video. Like I said before, all of the questions are going to be split up into different categories. But before we get into the questions, I just want to do introductions, just saying like who I am and also who my friends are, so you guys can get familiar with them. So hi, my name is Chanel. I go to Northeast University. Originally, I went into Northeastern as a psychology major, and then before I went to Northeastern in September, I switched to behavioral neuroscience, and now again I get switched again to health sciences. So now I'm in Beauvais, and my major is health science, and I'm a first-year student. But now that Corona has kind of cut the school year short, I can be considered a sophomore.
So my name is Maggie. I'm just going to be answering a few questions for you about Northeastern and my personal experience with it.
My name is Shanice, and I'm a business administration major with a concentration in finance.
Hi guys, so my name is Sari. I am a current first year here at Northeastern. I am an industrial engineering major, global health and health systems operation minor. I know that was a mouthful. And I'm from DC, the 202 stands up, baby.
Hi guys, my name is Aisha. I'm in rising second year here at Northeastern, and I'm a health science major. And I'm on the pre-med track as well.
So now we're going to go into just general questions, and if you see me reading on my iPad or looking down, sorry, I'm just like trying to read the questions. So the first question is, how did you find out about Northeastern? So I found out about Northeastern, I had a lot of friends that already went to Northeastern. It's pretty big at Deerfield, since a lot of people get accepted. So I didn't really know about Northeastern until I went to high school, and then my friends in other grades were getting accepted, and they went, and I just saw how it was, and I was like, oh, this seems like a great school. I'm used to being in the middle of nowhere, and I kind of wanted a school that was in the city or near a city, so that I can kind of have that New York feel but not be in New York. Since a lot of people ask me, well, why didn't you go to school in New York if you want a city school? And I'm like, well, I live in New York. I'm tired of being there. So I honestly found out about Northeastern from friends, and then just like following people on social media, just seeing how everything was. It seemed like a pretty good school to go to, so I just checked it out.
I honestly have no idea. My brother goes there. I heard about it through him, but then I also have family friends that work there. So like my whole life, I've just always known about the school. I don't really know when I first found out about it.
I'm just gonna talk about like some general things about Northeastern because I know you guys unfortunately are not gonna be able to have a visit day because of Corona. The Rona really out here messing stuff up. But anyways, so how did I find Northeastern? So actually, back in the day, I wanted to be a civil engineering major. Disgusting. And Northeastern has a really good civil and environmental engineering program. And so I found that I was searching on the web, like schools that have this program, because like only certain schools had like what I was looking for. Northeastern came up and I was like, I've never really heard of this school, blah, blah, blah. Did my research and I was like, yo, this school is dope. Made a visit back in February of my junior year. I was like, whoa, this campus is so cool. It's so diverse. Like, it just seems popping. You know what I'm saying? I applied. So when I applied originally early action. But y'all, I took the SAT 4 times. Did terrible. The 3rd time was my best try. It was still terrible. I'm not going to say what it was because it was terrible. So I went to my college counselor and I was like, oh my gosh, like, I really don't like the schools that I'm applying to except for Northeastern, but I'm scared to do early decision because, like, you know, it's early decision's binding, all that. And I was like, but I really want to get into Northeastern and I want to make sure I have, like, the best chances of getting in. So she was like, well, I was like, so do you think I should do early decision? She was like, well, sorry, like, you know what, you might want to do early decisions, like you have a strong academic profile, but your SAT scores are kind of especially for Northeastern's caliber. So I was like, great. So I was like, talked to my parents. I was like, listen, parents, like, this is what it is. And I really want to go to Northeastern. I think I'll be the most happy there. I felt the most at home on my visit there. And they were like, okay, we're trusting your word. Like, my parents were really supportive, which I'm super grateful for because some people's parents like refuse to let them do early decision. Anyways, so I changed my application from early action to early decision 2. Northeastern is one of the few schools that has that, so that was just really lucky. And on February 9th, 2019, I know I remember the day, that's kind of creepy, but I got my acceptance and I was so shocked, y'all, because when I tell you I doubted myself throughout this whole college process, I was like, I'm not gonna get in. Northeastern was like one of the hardest schools I applied to. Like, I didn't believe myself, didn't apply to any Ivies, any other top tier schools. Like, it was bad. So I got in, y'all, I screamed around the entire house. I was like, there's no way that this happened. I was so ecstatic. And yeah, so now we're here.
I found out about Northeastern kind of through searching on websites like College Confidential and Niche, and just honestly, sophomore year, freshman year, I was obsessed with colleges. Like, I'm just the type of person that I like planning things out as early as possible. So I kind of already wanted a target list of schools kind of by the end of my sophomore year. Like, I'm a gunner, I won't lie. Like, that's just my personality. And also, I live here in Massachusetts, not too far away from Boston. So every year, we were always sending kids to Northeastern anyways. So that exposure combined with just my own research on the side made me look into Northeastern. And when I signed up for their mailing list, for like half my high school career, I was interested in biomedical engineering. So they invited me to their Building Bridges Day that they have for kids that are interested in their engineering program. And as soon as they started talking about co-op, like, I was sold. Like, that combined with the fact that I felt just right at home in an urban campus, I was in love with Northeastern from sophomore year on.
Next question is, why did I pick Northeastern? So you guys should watch my college reveal. I'll like link it somewhere. But I just kind of go into depth about like the colleges I got into, blah, blah. I got into most of the colleges. I think I applied to 11 schools. I'm not entirely sure, so you should watch that video. But I applied to, I'm gonna say 11 for this video. And I got into most of them. I just didn't get into 3. So I narrowed it down to Northeastern, UVA, URichmond, and Wesleyan. and I loved each and every one of those schools. And U Richmond was the best option financially. And sometimes when I'm paying off these loans, I'm like, dang, I should have picked U Richmond because it would have been paid off. Like, it wasn't a full ride, but it was a pretty good scholarship. So sometimes I'm like, dang, I wish I went to U Richmond because I wouldn't be paying a lot. But the reason why I picked Northeastern was that it was in the city. Like I said, I wanted a school that was in the city or near a city, but also still had a campus feel. Like some schools like NYU, like personally I don't like NYU, one because I'm from New York, but also just like it's so spread out, and I wanted just a centralized campus feel but still engulfed in the city. And Northeastern is exactly that. Like, I can be within campus, but I can also go out, and right there is like the city of Boston, and the T runs like straight through campus. So it felt like, it still felt like a school. Like the school spirit, like even though I haven't really been to a lot of games, and we'll talk about all like the athletics and stuff later, but it felt like a family. Research, of course everyone says co-op or research and stuff, but I got into research my first semester. Like, I got into research the second month that I was there, and I feel like that's kind of unheard of for certain schools. Like, I know some people get into research their sophomore year, junior year, but I got into research like the second I got in Northeastern because opportunities were there and they were available. Co-op. Now I want to go to PA school, and I'll probably talk about like my life changes in college in another video. But because of co-op, I can get my clinical hours, even though Northeastern's like, our school times are like weird, like school schedule is weird, but I have co-op to get my clinical hours done, and because of my co-ops, I'll get 2,000 hours of clinical hours off bat, and then I can also get other clinical hours when I'm like working during the school year, which is also great. Just like the people in general, and I feel like that's just a cliche like answer, but because I already knew people from Northeastern, I felt super comfortable going there. Even though it's good to go to a school where it's a new environment, I felt as if it was a good balance. It was big enough where I can meet new people and I can have my own friends, but it was also small enough where I can have people that I know from high school, from middle school, just in Northeastern and in Boston in general. A lot of my friends go to school in Boston, and I see them, I party with them all the time, so I really feel connected to people from back home, and it just feels like a family overall. I love Boston, even though everything closes early. I love Boston, I love Northeastern, and when I visited, it felt like a pretty good fit. So yeah, that's why I picked Northeastern.
So one of their biggest selling points was the co-op program. You're gonna hear that a million times, but I have to say it one more time because honestly I think it's a good selling point. The fact that I can start working before I've even graduated and start networking early, I just feel like that gives me a leg up as opposed to other people my age that are graduating the same time as me. So hearing that as being one of the things that Northeastern has was something that really enticed me, and ultimately one of the reasons why I decided to go there. And then on top of that, for me, I knew I needed to be in a city. It does not matter what city, but I needed to be in a city because I get bored so easily. So having campuses around me that can entertain me if I get bored with my own, I feel like is a big plus, as well as like weekends, just like being able to explore the city. There's always something to do in a city, and I actually love that because I come from a pretty small town. And then on top of that, I also love the idea of a city having diversity and different types of people, because if I'm gonna be stuck on the campus for 4 years, I might as well enjoy myself, you know?
I'm from the Boston area, so like I always knew about Northeastern, and I did like a STEM program in 8th grade at Northeastern, so I knew about the school and I knew it had good academics. And I also knew it had a good co-op program, and as a business major, I know that any prior experience before I entered the workforce would be very beneficial to me, so that's primarily one of the reasons that I picked Northeastern. Also, it's in Boston, and I like Boston as a city, and I'm familiar with it, so I like that as a benefit.
Well, Northeastern, in addition to having like the specific program that I wanted, which I'm not even studying now, so that's the whole kill, but anyways, they just offered so much more that a lot of the other schools I was applying to didn't offer. As someone who's studying engineering, usually if you go to public universities, like they have a lot of research opportunities, this, that, and the third, and they're bigger, so it might be harder to find a community, but Northeastern offered all that these public universities offered. I'm talking like UMD, Georgia, Ohio State, like those big name schools. Northeastern offered that on a smaller scale, on a more personable scale, and like a higher caliber, honestly. So I was like, yo, this is dope. Even though, you know, like looking at the demographics, it's like, ooh, yikes, it's only, 4 or 5% Black. I was like, we can make it work. Going to PWI, what can we expect, So, plus co-op, I know y'all have heard about co-op. That's what Northeastern's known for. That's always a great plus, but just, there's so many resources at your fingertips. Like, I can't stress that enough. Like, if I fail in college, it will be my own fault.
When it came time to apply for colleges, I was applying to kind of like a lot of similar schools like BU, Northeastern, NYU, George Washington, etc. And my choices ended up boiling down to NYU and Northeastern. And I had actually used to live in New Jersey kind of before moving to Mass. And I have a lot of family in New York City, so I was already very familiar with NYU, and I was like, that was like my childhood dream school. So it was a really tough decision, but after talking to people that both went to NYU and go to Northeastern, I realized that Northeastern was a better fit for me, probably academically, at the pace that they typically go out in the classes. And also something I was looking for in my college experience was that as a pre-med, I do know that obviously it's really stressful at times and you really want a good support system, both in terms of advising and academically with your peers. Like, you don't want to feel overwhelmed. And talking to people that went to NYU, they felt like there wasn't really a great support system. They felt kind of isolated and alone, and they felt like the college just left them out to dry, at least with my particular program that I was looking at. Versus when I went to like kind of all the visitation days that Northeastern was having, and I got to interact with people from my major, they were like, yeah, I mean, you'll always be stressed no matter where you go, but they never felt like their workload wasn't manageable. And so they also felt like, oh, it's really collaborative here. Like, they were never afraid to reach out to their classmates and be like, hey, how are you doing on this assignment? I think I have a couple questions, can I get help? And like, they always felt comfortable talking to their TAs and their professors and felt like that academic resource was just really there. And on top of that, they felt like the pre-med advising was just really helpful in terms of dealing with the MCATs and applying to med school. So all those factors really just made me choose Northeastern, just because of the support that was there, especially within my major, and especially because it's a smaller major. So you get to know your classmates more, and the advisors like really know you within Bouvet. So that's why I went with Northeastern.
And the final general question is, how was your transition to college? So because I was so used to being in boarding school, living on my own, I feel like my transition to college wasn't I feel like through the living alone aspect of college, it was pretty fine, just because I'm used to being by myself. I'm used to living by myself, living with a roommate, doing my own laundry, like eating in the dining halls. So that was an easy transition, just because I wasn't homesick. Sometimes like I could get homesick just because the schoolwork was getting a little hard, but I feel like I was used to that aspect. I feel like the transition to college academically, I was also kind of used to it, but like the pace of college is so much different. Like, everyone said time management is so important, and I was like, yeah, I got this time management. But in boarding school, like, your time is very structured. Like, I would have class from 8:30 to like 3:05, and then I'd have co-curric, and then I'd have sit down dinner, and then it'll be study hall, and then I'll have like a little bit of free time before I go to bed, and then it like repeated the same cycle. But in college, it's like you have your classes. Like, first semester I had 3, sometimes 4 classes in a day, since I was taking 19 credits and the most is 20. So don't be like me, but I kind of had to for my major. So I was like in a lot of classes, but it was also like they weren't every single day, they were every other day. So it's like when your homework was up to you. You have work study now. Like, boarding school, I didn't have to work. I worked my freshman and my senior year, but I didn't have to work. for work study, I have to work. You don't have to take it, but then you have to consider that you need money for school. So I have to balance work study, and then I also got into research in October. So I have to balance school, work study, and research, and then social time and time for yourself and studying and homework. So I feel like the transition in that aspect was kind of hard just because I was juggling so many things at once. But I feel like once you get into a routine, you pretty much get used to it.
So my transition, I don't think was too bad. I think my high school did a pretty good job in getting us used to the workload and like what's expected of us. Obviously, you can't really compare the two, high school and college, but I feel like for what my school offered me, I was able to get used to the workload. But then another thing that no one really prepares you for, and there's really no way to prepare for it, is the lifestyle of college. You have so much free time, and I had a hard time figuring out what to do with all that free time. So first semester, I took so many naps. So many. I don't regret it, but I took so many naps because I just would finish class at like 10 a.m., mind you, and then I'd be like, okay, what am I supposed to do until 1 p.m.? Nap. Perfect.
Entering college was like very different. You're very much independent, but like, yeah, you're very much independent, and you have to like advocate for yourself and do things for yourself, which was a different change. I struggled most with like saving my money because I spent that a lot in like the first couple of weeks. So yeah, I had to learn how to budget. I had to learn how to like think about my future, because everything that I'm doing right now is for my future. So I had to plan those things out and like meet with counselors about like planning my rest of my years at Northeastern and everything. So like you have to learn how to advocate and like do things for yourself. And one of my worst worries entering college was like if I'm gonna make friends, because I only knew one person going into college. So yeah, making new friends. But like within the first couple of days, like I met people, and like you keep meeting people throughout your time, like wherever you go, like at parties or in classes or anywhere, clubs. So it's really nice.
So my transition to college, I felt, was a little easier than most, just because I have family that live in that area of Northeastern up in Boston, and I had always been there back and forth, especially within like my junior and senior year of high school. So I felt like the area itself, I totally adjusted to really nicely. Did take a while to land a T. I won't be afraid to admit that, but honestly, when you're getting out of Boston and around Boston, like, it takes a while to adjust to, but I promise, like, that transition in terms of using public transportation if you need to, that's an easy adjustment, like easier than you would think. But I would feel like academically my transition, I felt really prepared just because of my high school and because of the classes I took versus what I took my first semester, which, by the way, the classes I took were Gen Bio 1, Gen Chemistry 1. I took an intro to my major class that kind of talked about the health science program here at Northeastern. I took my psych class, and then I took kind of like just the labs associated with the science classes and resuscitation for chem. And I also took Calc 1. So at first I was a little intimidated looking at my schedule. I was like, oh my gosh, how am I gonna do all these science classes? Like, I feel like it's gonna be a lot. But honestly, at the end of the day, I ended up doing fine. I did get sick in the middle of the semester, so that's right around midterm season. That kind of set me back a little bit, but at the end I managed to rally back, and I do feel like the professors here are really understanding. It's not that you could get away with anything, like, don't get me wrong. Obviously we're in college now, and like no one's gonna be really chasing you for deadlines and stuff, but they don't leave you to dry. Like, they're always checking up on you, kind of in terms of announcements, making sure that you always are prepared for exams. And for some of my classes, you know, I have the kind of professor that'd be like, are you guys like ready to take this exam? Do you feel like all the material on it we've covered sufficiently in class? You know, so I felt that was like really nice, and that definitely helped the transition.
Now we're gonna go to academics. So the first question is, how was your first semester like academically? Yeah, academically, it was pretty okay. I like in my like one of my first college vlogs, you'll see me talking about calc. So I'm just gonna go into like the classes I took. So for behavioral neuroscience, for your first semester, you take 19 credits, which is a lot, but because of co-op, you kind of have to put everything together if you want to graduate in 4 years, and I'm doing the 4-year route, 2 co-ops. So when I was BNS, I took Gen Bio, or no, well, we call it Foundational Biology, but Gen Bio, Gen Chem. But for behavioral neuroscience, Gen Chem 1 and 2 are combined, which is like a debate between like everyone Northeastern. If it will count for a med school, PA school, it counts, so it's fine. But that was a very rough course. So those 2 were combined. Took Foundations of Psychology, Calculus, and then so that's like my 4 core classes. And then I took a Intro to My Major class, so that was 1 credit. And then you have Chem Recitation, Chem Lab, and Bio Lab. So it was like basically 8 classes that I had, which was a lot because the labs were also 3 hours. So like besides my 4 like core classes, I also had like recitations, lab. So that's why like my course load was pretty hectic. In all of my classes, I'll just go through each class one by one. Foundations of Biology, I loved it. I took it with Dr. Missy McDelegate. She's amazing. If you are first year Northeastern and you can take Foundations of Biology, even though you're pretty much like seated into your class, you can't really pick. If you have the chance to, pick her class. She's an amazing teacher. She like taught me everything I know. I feel pretty confident in bio. So, and I got an A in that class. So I highly recommend her class. Gen Chem was a struggle just because everything was like combined, Gen Chem 1 and 2, and I'm not the best chemistry person, or I thought I was in high school, but then I got to college, I was like, what is this? I just didn't like the class because everything was just so like fast paced, and it was like we would go through like 2 chapters in a lecture, and it was really rough. That was my lowest grade. I ended up with a B-, but I'm happy about that, just because, you know, like I didn't do like really well, but he curved a lot, so I still ended up getting a pretty decent grade. I would do a lot more things differently if I can go back, but you know what, it's okay. It was okay. I ended up passing, so it's fine. Next is Foundations of Psychology. Took out with Mark Prokosh. He's an amazing teacher. I highly recommend it. It's the easiest A I've ever gotten, and he made the class interesting. There's not really much to say about it because it was just like psych was, I already love psych, and he just made it super fun. And then calculus was my major struggle. And again, if you watch that vlog, I was originally with 1 teacher. And before I even got to Northeastern, I highly suggest that any first year student do this. Look up like Rate My Professor. Like no matter what college you go to, do a Rate My Professor for all of your teachers to see how they were. And his rating on there was like a 1 or 2. And I like had concerns about that before I even went. I posted it. I was like, this teacher has like a 1 or 2 rating. I'm concerned. Like, I don't know how we're gonna do. Like, everyone's saying that he's horrible, they need to switch out. So just like a mini story, I go there the first day, and he, like, I already got like a bad impression of him the first day, and I'm not gonna say his name just for, you know, privacy reasons. But first day I got there, he was like, if you haven't taken calculus before, okay, backtrack. For BNS, you need to take calculus. For any science course, you need to take calculus. But they originally put us in discrete, or no, not discrete, diffuse, my bad. And so when we went to orientation and we went to like the meeting your major or like section of orientation, one of the advisors were like, if you haven't taken calculus before in high school, I suggest going into Calc 1 instead of doing diffuse. And I'm like, that's perfect. I took AP Stats for high school instead of calculus, so that's perfect. So I get to the class, and the teacher's like, if you haven't taken calculus before, you need to like take this placement test or you can't be in the class. And I'm like, well, this class is supposed to be for people that haven't taken calculus before, or you weren't the best in high school. Like, you're supposed to teach me how to like do calculus. And he was like, well, you take this placement test or go to your advisor. So majority of people like just went to their advisors and they were like, I can't deal with this man. And so I took the placement test, but then it was just like, dang, like, I don't remember this stuff. Like it was fine, but I was like, you know, let me talk to my advisor real quick because I don't even know if he can kick us out of the class. So I talked to her and she's like, yeah, you're supposed to be in that class. He can't like take you out of the class. And I'm like, okay, like, let me like tough it out. Let me see what can be done. So I like saved the class and it didn't get any better. And this one day, it was my last straw. So I'm in the class, whatever. He like randomly picks people to answer questions. And it's not even a question. He didn't even teach us anything. He'll just be like, oh, do these problems. When like you didn't even teach us how to do them. Like be like, oh, take the derivative of this or use the derivative definition to do this. And I'm like, you didn't even teach us how to do this. So how do you want us to answer questions? So one day I went to him after class and I was like, hey, I just wanted to talk to you just because I haven't taken calculus before, and I want to do well in this class, but it just takes, I was just telling him and explaining to him that I have a learning disability and it just takes me longer to process information, but I can get the information. And he was like, well, you shouldn't be in this class, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I understand that you feel that way, sir, but I'm just explaining that I can get the information. It just takes me longer. And he was like, I don't appreciate your attitude with me. I don't appreciate how aggressive you are at me. And I'm like, I was speaking in a calm tone. Like I wasn't being aggressive at all. And I'm like, whoa, like you're automatically calling me aggressive just because I'm trying to defend myself and defend my work and defend that like I'm trying to do well in your class, but you're not giving me the opportunity to because you're not teaching. So I was like, okay, sir. And I just walked out the class. And I went to my advisor and I was like, you need to switch me now. Like he said that I was aggressive. Like this is like, he's basically racially profiling me, like labeling me as an angry black girl for defending myself. So she was like, okay, she was like typing away. She's like, it's done. And I'm like, what? And she was like, yeah, there's another calculus section during the same time as mine. And that class was full. But luckily, a person dropped out of that class the same time that I needed to get in, and she got me in. So that was just a blessing. I ended up going to another professor's class. It was also a struggle then. I did well on the first test, and I didn't do so well on the next two tests. So I knew, I was like, okay, I need to like set my game up. I can't like not do well. I needed to prove this first professor wrong because he wanted me to go back into algebra. And I'm like, I'm in college. I'm not going into algebra. I'm sorry. I need to do calculus for my major and for grad school. And I don't have any space to do any extra classes. So I went to the class. I studied super hard. I ended up the class with a B. Mind you, I went to the class late, so I missed like I missed most of like the basic lessons, so I kind of had to teach myself and catch up. But I ended up the class with a B, which is pretty good for someone who hasn't taken calculus before, who struggles with math. Like math is my worst subject, so that was pretty great. Sorry for like the long story, but I feel like it's important for those that are like looking for like math, like calculus in general at Northeastern. I want to say the professor, but I can't. So just avoid a certain male professor that teaches calculus 1. But overall, my first semester academically was pretty okay. I wish I studied a lot more and took it more seriously. Not saying that I didn't take it seriously, but I didn't study as much as I could have. So I ended up with a 3.509, which is pretty good. So I ended up on the dean's list, which is great. But now for this semester, I'm trying for 4.0. But now this coronavirus thing has happened. I think it'll happen, but we will see.
Honestly, I did not do as good as I wanted to do. Relatively speaking, I did perfectly fine, but for the standards that I set for myself, I put them up here and I did not meet them. So I was pretty disappointed with myself come the end of first semester, but I'm also not too hard on myself because that was my adjusting period. I was trying to adjust to how to study to this new material, how these exams are made in the first place, how they're set up, how professors set up their classes themselves, like what grades count for what, etc. And then also just getting used to using a different platform, so like Blackboard. I used to use something else in high school, so finding my way around was also another worry. So I didn't really know what assignments I had, and I didn't really know how to check on my grades and things like that. So that was pretty hard to get used to. And in high school, it was nice because the grades you got was a whole combination of different grades. So there was class participation that was helping you out. There were group projects, there was classwork, projects, I think I already said that, and tests. You had so many tests and quizzes and quests, my high school called them. There were so many grades that came together, so like you always had a chance to help your grade. In college, it's pretty different in that some professors will set up their classes that there's only 3 exams for the whole entire semester. So each exam weighs a lot. So there's like a lot of pressure to do well on each exam.
This semester was pretty good considering that I was transitioning into college. I thought I did pretty well with like handling all my academics. I definitely could have done better in some areas. I definitely should have utilized more of the tutoring services for some classes, but like I was just finding out about those. And I definitely should have gone to office hours more. Teachers are like, they want to help, but like you have to make the first step and like go to office hours and speak to them if you have an issue, like you don't understand something, so you have to do that first before they can help you. And my advisor, I met with my advisor once first semester, and we basically just planned out my 5 years, which was very nice. We didn't like plan like specific classes, we just planned out like the general scope, and like you have to meet with your advisors consistently and talk with them if you have issues, and plan out your 4 or 5 years.
The next question is, what did I think about the teachers? And I kind of already answered this in the last question, but overall I love my teachers. Like, they really care about what they're teaching. Even this semester, my teachers are very, very passionate about what they do. They love what they like. They love what they do. I feel like some people, when they have experiences with teachers, it's like teachers that want to teach. Basically, they're just focused on like doing their research, and they don't really want to teach anything. But for the most part, all of my teachers were pretty great. They knew what they were doing. They cared about the students. They just wanted us all to succeed. I feel like some teachers more than others, obviously, but overall they were pretty good. You can go to their office hours. Some teachers were more approachable than others, but that's just college in general. Yeah, so I feel like teachers are pretty good.
First semester, I had a pretty good set of teachers. One of my teachers, I was not the biggest fan of for chemistry. I basically had to self-teach that whole semester. His teaching method just really did not work for me, so I kind of relied on working with my friends to self-study, and you know, we got those good grades together, because group work honestly is one of the saving graces of college, I found out. My other teachers, my calculus teacher did not teach very well. I wasn't the biggest fan of him either. But besides that, my other teachers from my classes were pretty good. Like, they knew what they were doing. They helped us adjust. I had this teacher for biology. She did an amazing job with adjusting us to the college life. She was taking into account that we came fresh from high school. We don't know how college works yet. So I'm not gonna say she was easy on us, because her class was still pretty hard, but she made it reasonably hard. Like, it was fair.
And the last academic question is, how were the advisors? So you get assigned an advisor, an academic advisor, once you get in. I'm not gonna say my advisor's name just because she's gonna change now, because I'm switching my major. But for my old major, she was pretty great. She got me into my new calc class, which was pretty good. We didn't really have a lot of interactions besides like she taught our Intro to BNS course. That's the only time we'd really interact, or for like picking courses. Other than that, we didn't really talk, just because there was no need to, unless I had a problem. But they're pretty helpful overall. And I can talk about Bouvet advisors as well, since I met with them, and Bouvet advisors are really, really nice. I love Bouvet. And for like, if it's confusing for people that are watching this, Northeastern is like, it's like the full university, but then we're split up into colleges. So originally I was in College of Science, and now I'm in Bouvet College of Health Science. So I love Bouvet's advisors. They're pretty nice. They're very like helpful, and even though like I'm not officially, like technically I was accepted into Bouvet, but I don't like, my major change doesn't go into effect until the summer. But even though like I'm not like their advisee just yet, like they're just super nice, super helpful, and they're always willing to like listen to my concerns. So they're pretty great too.
Like I said, Bouvet is super small. It's one of the smaller colleges in Northeastern. So especially with health sciences and major also being small, to the point that I already know a lot of kids are in my major. Even though the lecture size classes are like really, really big. I felt like advising, like my advisors know my name and they know my face. And especially because my advisor actually had to leave like kind of in the beginning of the first semester because it was pregnancy leave. Even then, like our advisor that took over, even though he had to manage like basically almost the entire health science program at that point, like I still felt like he was listening, and he actually like really helped me put my best foot forward, which I felt was really important. Just coming in as a first semester, but you want to make sure you're set for, you know, the rest of your college career. Like, again, that's just me personally, personality-wise, I'm very driven. I'm very like, okay, like I want to plan, am I here for 4 years, 2 co-ops? Like, what do I have to be doing next semester already? And I'm just always on top of it. But it was really nice just also having advisors that understand that, didn't shut me down, be like, oh, you don't have to worry about that semester. Like, they're like, no, okay, like, let's talk about it. So I love my advisor. Shout out to Lance and Yaneli. Love you guys. So they have definitely listened to me just be like, panic, but like help set me right. And now I feel like I'm never scared to go talk to them if there's a problem with any of my classes, or if there's problems with registration, or like, hey, what co-op cycle should I go on, etc., etc. Like, I felt like they were always there and always listening. Same with my professors.
So next is the social aspect of college, which I feel like everyone wants to learn about. So do I feel like I made friends quickly at Northeastern? Yes, I made friends super quickly at Northeastern. I found my best friends, all for it. So I went into Northeastern already knowing people. There were 5 people from my grade going to Northeastern, which is pretty big, because I know some people going to Northeastern, they know nobody, and some people we know everybody. So I knew a pretty much decent amount of people from my grade, the grade above that. So I went in knowing people, but I didn't want them to be my core like friend group, obviously, because you want to, you know, mix and mingle. So there's a Northeastern Class 2023 group chat or just Facebook page and group chat. So I followed the Facebook page, and that's when everyone was like doing introductions, like, hi, my name is blah blah, I'm from this, I love this. So I was just, you know, like, I put my thing up there looking for a roommate. I talked to 2 girls first, and one already had a roommate. The second one, like, we were kind of like vibing, but like it wasn't like an instant connection. And then I see this girl post. Her name is Maggie. You guys have seen Maggie in my videos already. She's my current roommate, or was my current roommate. It's so sad. I basically saw her post and I was like, this girl's perfect. Like, she was BNS, even though I was coming in as psych, she was BNS, so she was in my college. We had the same interests. She was from Mass, so she like, we kind of had like, we had a lot of things in common. So I'm like, you know what, this is the girl I want. I like really like, this needs to be my roommate. So I DM her on Instagram, I follow her, DM her, and I'm like, hey, my name's Chanel. I wish I can like, can I find our, I'm gonna try to see if I can find our conversation on Instagram. But it was kind of like scary to reach out to her, because I was like, I don't know if this girl's gonna like accept me as her roommate. But I was like, you know what, I have to do it. So I reached out to her and I was like, hey, I don't have a roommate, like, I'm Chanel, blah blah, do you want to be my roommate? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, we have so many messages on Instagram, so I'm trying to like scroll through and find them. Okay, yeah, okay, so I have them right here. So my message was, hey girl, my name is Chanel and I'm from New York City. I saw your bit on your bio on Facebook and you look pretty dope. I'm looking for a roommate, so I was wondering if you wanted to get to know each other. And Maggie goes, hey girlie, of course I definitely want to. I'm on the hunt for new people. I also couldn't help but notice your makeup brand and that's so sick. When did you start that? Yeah, so we just like talked about makeup and we just talked about different things. We both love makeup. We just talked about like so many different things and I was like, this girl is my roommate. And now we are like the best of friends. So we'll probably get into, no, I'm just gonna talk about her now. So she was like one of my first friends at Northeastern. She came to New York and that's the first time that we met. If you see our room tour, again, we'll watch our room tour video. The picture on our door, that was like the first time that we met. And then we met at, we went to orientation and then we had fun at orientation. So it was just like an instant connection. And just from her, she also had friends from her town that she knew that were going to Northeastern. So that's how I found my like other friends, Daisha. And I met people at orientation as well. And then when I got to Northeastern, that's when I met Davida. So there's like so many like chance to meet people, and it's honestly just putting yourself out there, and it's also like who other people know. So if you know this one person and they have friends that they know, you just get connected. So I just have a really big like core group of friends, but I also know other people from outside. So I feel like I got to meet people pretty quickly through the Facebook.
Do I feel like I made friends quickly? Yes I do. Starting off with the fact that back when everyone was getting accepted into Northeastern, like from the way beginning, we had this big group chat or like club, I don't know what to call it, on Facebook of all the accepted students, which I'm sure other classes will have too. And from there, everyone just posted a few pictures of themselves and then they wrote a little bio and then people would comment from there. So people found their roommates. I found Chanel through there, which is one of the best things that could ever happen to me. People found their roommates there, people found friends, and like you just saw familiar faces on there that you would see on campus, and it was just really nice because it wasn't so daunting to be on campus because you knew, okay, I have something to like look forward to, I know what to expect, someone. And then at orientation, as well as when we actually reached campus in September, everyone was just so receptive, including upperclassmen too. So at the involvement fair, they set up posters of clubs and organizations that were on campus, and from there a lot of the upperclassmen were really welcoming and were like, come to our club, you know, we do this, that, and the fifth. And so through clubs, you know, it was easy meeting people because you had that common interest, as well as, I don't know, everyone was just so nice at the beginning of school year because everyone was just so like eager to make new friends that no one was rude or they brushed you off or were too cliquey or anything like that. And even now, everyone's still really nice.
Okay, so the social life. Whew, where do I start? So you make your social life. Like, I just want to start there. Some people are always like, oh, this place is so boring, this place is so boring. I'm like, that's because you're boring. Like, you're not doing anything to help yourself to have fun, to be social. Like, you make or break that situation. But anyways, aside from that, coming in as a freshman, like, you're so nervous. I remember being so nervous especially because I have social anxiety. And people now that they know me, they're like, sorry, stop lying. You don't got no damn social anxiety. Like, what are you talking about? No, I have social anxiety because if you ask some of my friends now, like, their first impressions of me, like, I can be very standoffish when I am in, like, a very uncomfortable situation or, like, a new situation or anything like that. So, like, making friends was so nerve-wracking to me. But ironically enough, I was the person who started our like Black Northeastern 23 group chat. So, but I think that really helped me meet people because if you don't know already, like GroupMe is so big in college. Like they use that as a main form of communication for clubs, for student groups, affinity groups, and so much more. So having that like Black Northeastern 23 group chat prior to coming to campus kind of helped ease things, let me see and let others see like, okay, who are other people in our class. And in addition to that, I created the Black Boston group chat for the class of 2023, and that's basically do a lot of party promoting in that, etc., etc. So as for social life though on Northeastern campus, so as you know, or maybe you don't know, We don't have a football team, so I know a lot of people think when they think of college, they think tailgates and football games and woo woo woo. So we don't really have that, but that don't mean we don't have fun. Like, come on now. We do have hockey. I have yet to go to a hockey game, so I cannot speak on that, but maybe one of my friends can. And hockey is really big there.
Socially, I'm an extrovert, so on top of that, I also, again, had some really good friends from high school coming to Northeastern with me, but I just felt like I made friends really quickly, especially at orientation. I'm also in this club called NUACES. I'm a really big person on volunteering, and this was basically something you had to apply for, but it's this club where you go out into places in Boston to volunteer once a week or so, and you're just civically engaged, and that was my beat. So through that club, I also made friends, especially because we moved in a week early, so you had like these kind of bonding team activities, as well as like going out to different places in Boston. But I felt like just those combination of factors, like I made friends quickly. And again, like when you're making friends, they're also making friends. So like, you're this network of like, oh, you always know someone, and like that person knows someone, and like you have that connection. And I felt that was just super helpful to making friends.
Next is, do I feel like there's a lot of school spirit? So I didn't really go to a lot of school games. I went to one basketball game, and I wanted to go to a hockey game, but they were like all sold out. So there is definitely school spirit, especially if you like go to a lot of the hockey games. Like hockey games I've heard are crazy. I'll watch them on like TV, and they're like insane. So I feel like there is a school spirit. Of course it's not going to be as much as like other schools that have more of a centralized campus that isn't really in the city. Just because the way Northeastern works, like we all come together, but you don't have all the school population at once, if that makes sense. Just because some people, like in the fall, you're gonna see different set of people than in the spring, because people are going on co-op, they're like going away, they're doing travel abroad, so we don't have the full like amount of people on campus at one time. So you're gonna meet so many different people, and you're gonna like miss so many different people. But like the school spirit's there. The mascot always comes out, like President comes out. When it's like when it's sunny, like you'll see everyone just like on the field, like going to support games. They'll post it all over, just trying to support everyone. So I feel like the school spirit is definitely there.
I won't really lie, there isn't a crazy amount of school spirit here, just because we don't have a football team to really center around, and on top of that, co-op, like you have kids always going in and out, and I know that's a worry. And when I was like reading up on Northeastern, that was certainly a worry of mine. I was like, dang, do kids like not really care about Northeastern at all? Like, are they just there to learn and that's it? But I learned totally not the truth. Like Northeastern is that we work hard, but we also like play hard to kind of school. If you're looking for school spirit, Beanpot, sorry, I was about to say Peapot. Beanpot, totally worth the experience if you're into hockey, or even if you're not really into sports, but that's like the one time during school year I feel like everyone really comes together to like root on our men and women's hockey team. And we've won Beanpot 3 years in a row with this year, 2019 and 2018, so go Huskies. But yeah, no, other than that, I mean, school spirit, again, it's a little harder to find than other schools, just because like we aren't really that big into sports. Again, because you always have kids going in and out due to co-op, but I wouldn't say that because of kids going in and out because of co-op, like the school feels fractured. It's just a little bit of a different sense of how we express our school spirit.
The final social question is, how close are you with people on campus? I am very close to my friend group. I love them. I feel like they're just such a great group of people, and I feel like that's really important to have in college. You want to have a group of people that you're close with, that you can talk to about anything, but will also push you. Like my friends, like they're not complacent, like they want to strive for the best. We always hold each other accountable. We have family dinners. Like it's really easy to get caught up in like missing your friends because you're so focused on like yourself in college, but it's super important to have like a core group of friends, and I feel pretty close to the people that I'm close with. I feel like Northeastern is like, we're so big that like not the whole campus can be close. Like it's not like boarding school where everyone knows each other. Like in a sense, people know each other, but it's not like every single person in your business. So I feel like we're all very close. We're close, but you can still have your own personal space.
I've met some of the best people, and I'm trying to remember like how I meet. Because I started the group chat, people were able to get more acclimated with each other prior to coming to campus, which, like I said before, really, really helps. So it was as easy as walking into the dining hall. I'm pretty sure I was by myself, or maybe I was with my friend Adara, I think. And I walked to this table where Choice, Shandy, Abby, Davida, I think, and a couple other people were sitting, Daisha, and I was like, oh my god, hey y'all, hey Choice, and they were like, oh my god, hey Sorry. Well, at the time they had all said my name wrong, and then I had to give them a whole lesson on how to say my name. But anyways, and then we just like hit it off from there. Now, I wasn't originally like the closest friends with them, but over time it just happened, and we made our little group, and like I love them all so much. And even though we don't see each other every single day, because we all have different majors, all have different classes, even though some of our classes might overlap, like we usually see each other on the weekends when we're going out to party or having game night or girls night or whatever. We try to do like family dinners, which is really nice and helpful to see each other in the middle of the week. Just catch up, spend some time with some black people, because you're not gonna see them in your classes. And yeah, it's just really nice.
I would say that, again, I'm like someone that I love connections, I love people. So I have friends like in a lot of different schools here in Boston. But I would say like with my friends on campus, I'd say I'm very blessed that I found a group like really fast within the first semester, and we're still here like end of the first year going into the second year, and they're my support system, my rock. So I would definitely say I'm really close with them. And even with my classmates, I felt like the first semester with like a lot of the other health science people, just because like there's not that many black people to begin with on campus, so especially in the health science major, it's like a lot of kids that aren't really like you. I kind of felt a little isolated at times, and I was kind of like, oh, like I love my major, but I don't know how I feel about the people. Like I remember talking to all my friends about it. I was like, oh, like do I really have to interact with them? Like, oh my gosh. But like with the second semester, I've definitely gotten closer to some of them, and I won't say like we're BFFs or anything, but even before that, like I always felt like I could reach out to some of them if I was helping an issue with chem or whatever, or with bio. Like people, you could definitely always like reach out to them, talk to them. Like that's the community at Northeastern, like really welcoming and really, really supportive, which I think is super important when you're looking at colleges.